welcome back to part 2 of the Black Tie Barn oils of my latest haul. Now in this video I'm going to be smelling some of the ones I was most excited to smell in the last video but did not smell. Now if you are new here, hi, my name is Alan and I'm a little bit obsessed with fragrances and proud, but anyways, if that kind of content brings a smile to your face, subscribe to the channel and tap the little notification bell, and let's get right into this video. So excited to smell this one. Now, as I always say in these fragrance videos, something that I really like, you might not like, and also something that you really like, I might put on my fails list. Fragrance is very subjective, and that's why you also want to always test these out in final products before you have any final impressions. These are just my out of the bottle first impressions. I know you guys really like these videos, and that's why I keep doing them. Now, these were sent to me by Black Tie Barn. This video is in no way sponsored or affiliated, and Wade Thomas, the owner of Black Tie Barn, even though I really respect him, he knows that these videos have to be absolutely authentic for me or I wouldn't post them. So, let's get right into this. Oh, and also, as I always say, whatever I think is what I'm gonna share. And I will put the notes up from the website on the screen for you to see, but I don't consult any of those prior to filming these videos. And I know some of you are gonna say, oh, you didn't put these fragrances in collections or anything like that. Like he had this collection and that collection. Well, I know, but if I did that, then I wouldn't be able to to make these videos without looking and consulting some stuff, and I don't wanna do that. All right, let's take a look at, I don't know. Let's take a look at, I don't know, I want maybe the Wilted Rose. Let's do that first. I was really excited for this one in my last video and I didn't do it. Now, I'm not a floral person, but I do sometimes like rose fragrances. I don't know why. They can be just kind of mature to me, not in an old lady type of a way, but just beautiful, like in an admiring life type of a way. Now, wilted, I kind of wonder if that means there's some sort of decaying notes in this fragrance. Like, I'm really curious what that means. It's very intriguing to me. So, anyways, here goes the Wilted Rose. Let's see what it's gonna do. Oh, wow. Wow, this is a very true to life rose. I'm getting actually a crispness to this fragrance as well, as kind of a more earthy note to this. So it's almost like I get a kind of decaying note, not in a skanky, like animalistic way, but a decaying note as in just an artistic type of a vibe. But I'm kind of picking up maybe a little bit of green to this one, like the stem, and maybe some moss to this one. Almost like you combine like a fog and fern type of a fragrance with a rose fragrance. It's not like the Rebel Rose though at all. That is more of like a black rose, more of like a haunted rose. This is more of, if you're familiar with Rose Petals by Candle Science, that is what I've said in the past is my favorite rose fragrance. It's a very true to life, elegant rose. And this definitely is along those lines, but this one I am picking up, I would say, more green notes, and I actually really appreciate that. I think that the Candle Science one, possibly could have a little bit more of that in it, and I would recommend blending that fragrance if you're trying to get more than just the rose flowers, whereas this has that kind of built into it where you're getting a green leaf, maybe like almost like a, I don't want to say like a hay type of a note. It is kind of perfumey, so I'm curious how that will come through in a candle, like if that will tone down. I'd also be curious how this would blend with something kind of smoky, kind of maybe like a smoked oud type of a vibe, like a charcoal rose. Next, let's take a look at the Butterscotch Brew. I tend to like butterscotch fragrances, especially if they have bourbon. I like a lot of bourbon with my butterscotch. So hopefully, oh geez, I can smell something a foot away and I ain't getting much bourbon. I don't know about this, guys. I'm hoping some more bourbon comes through, if there's that in there. I mean, I guess it doesn't advertise that, but here we go. Oh. This is very butterscotch forward. I wonder though, as this dries down, if I am gonna start picking up more, because bourbon those type of notes are more in the base, and they're often combined with butterscotch fragrances. Now, I did also grab Candle Science's Butterscotch and Bourbon. I have a sample of that, and I thought we would compare them side by side so I could kind of tell you. I really like this oil, just to kind of describe the differences. The Black Tie Barn one is extremely prominent out of the bottle. So I'm going to put the Candle Science one on my right, your left, and the Black Tie Barn one on your left, my right. Or I'm sorry, I said that backwards. The Black Tie Barn one is on my left, your right. The Candle Science is on my right, your left. So here goes Candle Science. Yeah, you definitely get a lot more bourbon with the Candle Science one. You could almost argue it being like a deodorant type of a scent. But it's nice. I really like the bourbon tempering the butterscotch. And now the Black Tie Barn one on my left, your right, much more sweet and butterscotch heavy. Sweet in an authentic way, though, to butterscotch, I would say. There is a prominent, like, vanilla cream type of a note to this, almost. Maybe there is something a little nutty in this one. And a lot of butterscotch. As it dries down, though, I do get more kind of nutty character to this, which I really appreciate. Yeah, and almost a woody character as it dries down more. The butterscotch really hits you in the face with this one at first, but like with a lot of oils, they really develop more as they dry down, because when you first smell it, you get hit with those kind of top notes and mid notes, and then someone's calling me. Sorry, guys.
We're on our way back. We'll probably be there in 15 minutes or so. I wanted to check if you still wanted to go out for dinner.
Oh yeah, I mean, we could go out. I'm just finishing up a video here, so that sounds good.
Okay, we'll see you in a little while then.
All right, sounds good. Take care. Bye. All right, guys, sorry about that. I wonder how these two would be together. Yeah, the Black Tie Barn is a more true gourmand butterscotch, whereas the Candle Science is more true to name with bourbon and butterscotch, I would say. Next up, let's stay on the gourmand kick and take a look at the banana bundt cake. I'm really hoping that this is like a banana bread fragrance, but that really has, a lot of times with banana breads, you don't really get the cake and you don't really get the base to it. And I'm looking for something that has that in it. Like, I want the bread, not just the banana pudding. And this does advertise cake. Now, sometimes those base notes don't come through as well on the strip, but I'm really hoping this one does. So, here we go. Oh, wow. I'm definitely getting, and I just whacked myself in the face with that. I'm definitely getting a cake note to this one. Yep. I sure am. And so, for reference, the Candle Science Banana Nut Bread, I use that oil, but I blend it with an oil called Sugar Cookie by Candles and Supplies in order to bring in that bread note, that kind of base, because I don't get that with the Candle Science Banana Nut Bread alone. It smells more like, again, a banana pudding, like a banana Laffy Taffy. This has the bread built right into it. It's less prominent than I would expect, though, out of the bottle, and that partly could be because of the base notes being more prevalent in this one. Yeah, it smells like my banana bread candle. Like, if I were to smell this strip and someone told me that this was my banana bread and walnut candle, I would say, of course. It smells just like it. Yeah, I mean, so you're getting a nuttiness, you're getting a vanilla, like a true to life banana note, but like a baked banana that's already been made into cake or bread. And then you're also getting kind of some honey, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of burnt sugar, kind of caramelized sugar, and kind of some steam wafting from the oven almost. And then maybe some light spices. There's not a whole lot of spices in this, which I do appreciate as well, because it's going to cater to a more versatile audience without all those spices. The Candle Science one isn't overly spice heavy though either, but I will be tougher on like gourmands that are banana bread type marketed that are, because I do feel like that takes away from the versatility of the fragrance oil. All right, guys, let's take a look at the Cashmere Sky. I don't know what to expect from this. Maybe something that's kind of like a lavender, maybe something, I mean, cashmere implies like a textile, and sky implies something kind of ozonic, something kind of picturesque. So let's see what the Cashmere Sky by Black Tie Barn is gonna do. This is lighter out of the bottle than I would expect. Well, I like what I'm smelling. I wish I was smelling more of it. This reminds me of, it's like a relative to the Legacy, if you're familiar with that fragrance oil. Yeah, it's almost like a relative to the Legacy and to, I'll put the name up on the screen of the other one that I'm thinking of. Not the First Crush. The Sugar Blush. Yeah, this is like a kind of refined relative to the Sugar Blush, in my opinion. I describe that fragrance as luxury Fruit Loops. This fragrance is definitely reminiscent of like a cashmere and vanilla, but you're getting something that's kind of more watercolor-like, kind of more ozonic, but there's a very crisp note that's coming through and I can't quite put a finger on it. My guess is there's a couple of different florals that are buried in here, and it's not a very prominent floral fragrance. It's kind of one of those novelty fragrances that blend a bunch of different categories, because I wouldn't really consider it fruity or textile either, but it's kind of a little bit of all that. Next, let's take a look at the Fantasy Juliet's Weapon. Now, I'm excited for this. I want to say this was one when I was on the website a couple weeks ago that stood out to me based on the picture. I thought it looked... I just dropped the cap. I thought it looked pretty intriguing based on the website. Now, I don't know with this one if it's based on something that's like a movie or something that is fictional. I feel like it is, like Romeo and Juliet maybe. The Fantasy Juliet's Weapon, maybe that is like her seduction or something, or her, like how she is as a person, how enchanted she is. So I wonder if there's gonna be like something floral to this, but also something kind of earthy. So here we go. Yup. Holy cow. Yeah, this is about what I was expecting for this. So there is. It's a floral, but it has a very green component to it. It is perfumey, but it's a very doable perfume, and I would tell you that a lot of men are gonna like this too, because it just smells attractive. Yeah, man, this smells like something that I have smelled before, though. What is it? It's earthy, but it's enchanted at the same time. It's almost like you're walking through a forest, but it's like one of those jungle forests, and you're in a cinematic movie of some sort. And they have the colors all like saged out or something. And there's vines all over the place. And then there's this really, really attractive gal who's clad in like, literally clad in the vines and all the greenery. I'm very intrigued by this. I don't know that it's something I'd want in my line personally, but I think that if you're looking for something that kind of blends together something that's green with something that is floral and it's more of a novelty type of a scent, I mean, you could just call this Juliet and then make the bandit Romeo or something, you know? All right, next up, let's take a look at the Island Retreat. Now with this fragrance, I'm expecting maybe something pineapple, definitely something tropical. Maybe we'll get some mangosteen or some guava or some coconut to this one, or maybe some santal, something bronzed, maybe a little suede, maybe something oceany. There could be a lot of different ways he's going with this branding for the Island Retreat. That's kind of vague, right? So I don't know, here we go. Let's see what it's gonna do. Oh, yeah, this is a coconut fragrance. There's definitely some kind of bronzed coconut, a little bit of santal that I'm picking up too. That's kind of a more woody, dry down to this that I really appreciate, because that tempers the sweetness of the coconut. It's lighter out of the bottle, but that is, I would say, expected based on kind of the woody quality of the santal that I'm getting in this fragrance. I'm also getting maybe some bamboo or something that is kind of reminds me of like you're on kind of a, I'm maybe you're on a cruise off the coast. Like I went on one off of the coast of St. Martin, for example, and it was kind of night, and we were on this boat, and we were just drinking rum, and I was like 12, but they give the kids like a little glass of rum too, and well, we were on like nude beaches, and it, like, you could call this nude beach. It literally smells like that. It almost has that kind of skin-like quality to it. It smells like it could blend right in with someone, where if you were to breathe the scent of their skin, it would smell attractive, and it would smell beachy and coastal, but in a woody, sexy, like Santal-y type of a way, with a little hint of coconut. Not like a sunscreen coconut though. Yeah, this is good. This reminds me of very tropical, but like you're on a kind of intimate but high-end type of a cruise. All right, I'm really excited for the smoking gun. I'm scared for the chocolate fragrance, and I don't know. We got a peppermint and a cereal. Let's get the cereal out of the way. These are very popular scents for people in their candle line. I'm not one that has ever had a cereal fragrance, but a lot of people love, for whatever reason, Fruit Loops type fragrances, and my guess is that's what this is gonna be. Yep. This is a prominent one too. Yeah, so Flaming Candle has one. They almost come through as like a sassafras type of a note, if you ever smelled that in nature. But there's like a lemon top note. There's like some other kind of fruity mid notes. This legitimately smells like sassafras though. If you've ever smelled that, I'd be tempted to put this in my line and brand it that way, because it is, it's not too sweet, and it does not come through synthetic at all. It smells very organic and natural, like you're almost smelling a sassafras tree. If you've ever, it smells very much like Fruit Loops. Like if you've smelled the leaves, we have them natively here in Michigan. And when I used to go to various nature centers as a kid, that was one of my favorite smells that I would always try to break the leaves of and inhale when I was out in the wild. Wow. I'm impressed by this, actually. I'm strongly considering making this into a candle just to kind of see how it comes through. Watch me spill this all over myself now, but yeah, so they're fruity, but the fruitiness is kind of tempered by like some citrusy top notes, and then the base is just kind of spunky and fun. Maybe there's a little bit of melon in here, but it comes through as almost like the color yellow, I would say. And a lot of people sell this as like Saturday afternoon cartoons. I think Memory Box Candle Co. does hers as, and I think 1994 Candle Co. does his as like Saturday morning memories or something. Like, a lot of people will brand them that way, or just calling it like Fruit Loops type. I wouldn't do that, but, or Fruity Rings or something like that. Very, very nostalgic for a lot of people, and a scent that I frankly want to keep smelling because it just makes me happy. It's like if a sunshine could be a fragrance, or if yellow could be a fragrance. A childlike, spunky yellow made into a fragrance. All right, let's take a look at the Peppermint Twist, and then we're going to end with the two that I'm most scared and excited for, the chocolate fragrance and the smoking gun. I hope this video is postable because it's golden hour here and there's like a lot of light coming in, so hopefully it's not too crazy. Ooh, I can smell something minty from a distance. Now, peppermint is a note that can be very deceptive. So you can often buy a peppermint fragrance and you think, oh, it smells really good out of the bottle. A lot of us are familiar with Twisted Peppermint, for example, by Bath & Body Works. I grew up with that scent. My mom wore it like constantly, and I really liked it. But with candles, when you put these into wax, a lot of the time they can sometimes, not a lot of the time, but I'd say a 50-50, come through as like a sort of plasticky, synthetic type of a smell. And that's just a chemical reaction that occurs with a lot of different fragrance oils, or sometimes it's the essential oils in the fragrance oil. Those kind of more menthol-y notes that just don't come through very well in wax. Now, it's also why I only recommend certain companies on this channel. Black Tie Barn would be one of them. Candle Science is another one, where they're rigorously testing their oils for the performance specifically in candles. So I would guarantee you that I can't guarantee you, right? But I would almost guarantee you that you're never going to get something like that from a Black Tie Barn or a Candle Science peppermint. And citruses are another one, particularly like orange citruses. They can often smell like gasoline, and that's not because fragrance oil is fake. It can be like that if you just put straight orange essential oil into a candle as well. It's just a chemical reaction that can happen from some of the different components in that essential oil and or fragrance oil. Anyways, that was kind of long-winded, but here goes the Peppermint Twist. Oh, wow. This smells like spot-on Twisted Peppermint by Bath & Body Works. Now, yeah, I'm so glad he kept this just a true peppermint. There is a vanilla note to this as well. And peppermint with a touch of vanilla can be easily marketed. This one you could easily put into a holiday fragrance or keep it in a year-round spa type of a fragrance as like a mint rejuvenation type of a scent, or peppermint vanilla, breathe easy, cool and calm. I don't know what I'm coming up with, but like, yeah, it's really calming for a lot of people, and it helps people who suffer from nausea a lot of the time. The scent of peppermint, that menthol type of a vibe. So this one straddles the line right between, it's not too sweet, but you could push it into a candy cane, more of a natural type of a candy cane fragrance, or you could have this as a year-round type of a spa fragrance, or a year-round type of a minty fragrance. This is the perfect amount of like vanilla to this, and it's not too straight peppermint. I almost get like some other silvery notes in this one that do kind of bring about that more Christmas type of a vibe. But again, it's so subtle that it could go really either way, I feel like. It's very versatile peppermint. If you have ever smelled Twisted Peppermint by Bath & Body Works, this is definitely a close sibling. I almost wonder if there's like a little bit of spearmint in this too. Like, I don't know that I'm getting just peppermint. It's like I'm getting peppermint and maybe the tiniest hint of eucalyptus and spearmint in this. And definitely a hint of vanilla, a hint of sheer musk. Wow, yeah, this is good. This is a classic peppermint, but it is an inspired take. So it's not gonna smell, if you've ever smelled like straight peppermint essential oil, it can be almost medicinal smelling, where it's just too sharp, and it needs to be tempered with something a little bit more round like vanilla. Not too much vanilla, right? Because then it gets too sweet, but just a tiny hint of it to kind of round that peppermint off. And then we kind of bring in these other notes that are more spearmint, a little bit of that, maybe a touch of eucalyptus, a touch of like, I don't know. There might even be a hint of some type of spice in here. It's like a white eucalyptus, a touch of it. Yeah, this is a good peppermint. All right, last two fragrances here. Have I been disappointed by anything? All right, guys, let's take a look at, I don't know, let's do this chocolate fragrance. This is probably gonna be the one that sends me, because I'm not gonna say it out loud, but you guys know how I do with chocolate fragrances. There's been very few that I've actually liked. I do like the Candle Science. Oh, and I'm smelling something like a foot away with this. I like the Candle Science Chocolate Element. That is like one of the only chocolates, and there's been a few from Mixie that I really like if you want to go and spend $70+. Not all of them, but okay. Anyways, here goes the Honey Pas la Chocolat. Forgive my horrible French. I don't know French. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, this is not... All right, so this is developing more too as it dries down. This is not what I was expecting. I mean, it is, but it isn't at the same time. So I'm actually getting some subtle floral notes to this, surprisingly. So it is got a prominent chocolate character to it. Definitely not a dog's earwax. I know that's so cringe, but that's what I always call chocolate fragrances on this channel, because I smell them. It literally smells like when I would have to wash out my golden retriever's ears as a kid. If you've ever smelled that, that's oftentimes how chocolate fragrance oils come through to my nose, and this does not. But this is a balance, a really nice balance. Jesus, I'm gonna have to test this out in wax. So you get the chocolate, but there's several very subtle floral notes playing in the background. I can't pinpoint if it's a tiny bit of jasmine or honeysuckle or something, kind of like a floral just kind of smiling at you in the background of this. I don't even know if it's in there, or maybe it's a citrus or something like that. Now, I don't know what this actually is in French. I don't know what kind of dessert this is. I am getting a honeyed character to this as well, and almost like a bread character, which I really find, like, if you wanted a like chocolate donut fragrance, like a bougie chocolate donut, I feel like this would give that vibe. And yet it also smells like if you were at a summertime tea party outside, like in nature, and you were gonna have, when I used to work at the Henderson Castle, we would have, we would all dress up in costume, the staff the staff that were also actors for these, it was basically a prince and princess tea party, and the little kids would come all dressed up in their characters, and then we would have like these different kind of platters, and the chef would bake different desserts for them, and they were all like little bite-sized desserts. And if you're not familiar, the Henderson Castle it's actually styled after a region in France called Bordeaux, and it is a castle that was built in the 19th century in actually Kalamazoo, Michigan, based off of where the owner, Francois Moyer, was from in Bordeaux. And it is a true castle, but it is kind of like a smaller version. And this just really takes me right to that tea party. And it was so cute because the kids would be all dressed up, and it was just such a kind of fun, classy event that it was like the kids' whole week. Maybe they looked forward to these tea parties for like a month in advance, and they would come all dressed up, and it was usually their mom, but there were also some dads that would take their kids, and it was just so adorable seeing all these kids. And you know, they'd all have their hair, the guys would all have their hair combed, you know, and they'd be like in their little prince outfits, and the gals would all be dressed up like their moms would curl their hair, or they would just go natural and wear like a little princess outfit. And it was just the cutest thing. It was the cutest thing. And so then we would have them in the dining area. And I also played piano too, not for these events, but I played piano there for dinners. And, I think my friends just came in the house. I hope that's them because the door just opened. Anyways, we're gonna trust that. But yeah, this is such an adorable fragrance oil. I can't wait to try this out in wax. All right, guys. Last one for this video, the smoking gun. Now, can't wait to smell this. I don't want to get too into like. So, wow, this lid is really on. There we go. I don't want to get too into like gun stuff, but I feel like this is going to, so my dad used to, he used to call it church on Sundays, and he would go, and like he didn't do anything too reckless, right? He actually did this with a bunch of police officers, and they would go, and he took me there a few times. It was like to this place way out in the country, and it was like a sand pit, and they would set up all these things. They would even take old vehicles, and they would put all these different, you know, things in them so that when they shot the car, it would actually explode. And again, these are really old cars that were totaled and that kind of thing. And he did this with a bunch of cops. Like, it was all very sound, okay? But when they would shoot these guns, there was a very distinctive scent of like gunpowder that would kind of linger in the air. And this was also, like I said, at a very sandy kind of place. And yeah, like I just feel like, I wonder if this is gonna capture that essence. Or if it's gonna be, ooh, gosh, and I can smell something like a foot away with this one that's very intriguing. I wonder if this is gonna be like watching Little House on the Prairie. My mom always used to do that. The movie, we always read the books too, but like they have like a musket, you know, that could only shoot one bullet at a time. And when it did, it went off, there was like, again, all this like backfire and like smoke and everything. And yeah, you can almost get like some leather to it. You know, I can't even keep myself together. I was most excited for this fragrance of anything. So here we go. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. This is lighter out of the bottle, but I'm really liking everything that I do smell from this one. Yeah, oh my God. Okay, I can actually smell it a bit more coming up close to it from the bottle. It has a strong leathery component that's done very well. Wow, this almost has like some bourbon to it. It's a little bit sweeter, which is interesting. It's almost like it has some tobacco. It doesn't smell like, I know a lot of people think tobacco smells like cigarette smoke. It doesn't smell like that at all, but it almost has like a true tobacco note to it. Wow, this is like Wild West. This is definitely, it's much more picturesque than what I was describing about my dad's church. Yeah, this reminds me of watching Little House on the Prairie and like a musket, like a gun that they would have, you know, like in the 18th century, like hanging on above their mantle on their fireplace. And it just captures the essence of being out in the wilderness, and it has that leather to it, and it has that kind of after smoke to it. And it almost has like a little bit of a metallic quality to it. At the same time, I don't even know how that's possible in a fragrance. But then there's also like a rich cedary, woody base to this one too. It almost has like a hay note that is very intriguing. I could actually see this being branded as like hayride, or as like an orchard type of a scent, but in like a tobacco and hay type of a way. And this is almost another one that I would say is, I don't know, I'd be tempted to try it in soap or in some other products. It almost does have that bourbon quality to it too. That is gonna be all for this video. If you are a patron, go ahead and hop on over to that platform where I will be ranking these oils. And if not, check out the description box below. I will be ranking all these oils that I just reviewed from my least favorite to my most favorite, as I always do. Thanks again to Black Tie Barn for sending me these oils. Again, this video is no way sponsored or affiliated with Black Tie Barn. And yeah, if you guys had any favorites from this video or ones that you're looking forward to trying out, let me know. Also, let me know if you'd like me to post some testing footage trying out some of these oils. Anyways, I'm sending all of you peace, love, and light, and I'm wishing all of you happy candle making. We believe fragrance connects stories, twists and turns, and trailblazers with the wild and sacred. Like members in an orchestra, we play our own part, which is united into one song with the story of each other part. Stretching far and wide, bridging earth and stars, we dance to the scent of life until we return to the dirt and ascend to the sky. I'd like to take the time to thank my patrons for their incredible support.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each. When living authentic, do more exploring, deeper than knowing just what is essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it, burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. Silence the noise away from the program, removing performance, true self, all that's standing. Live free from worry, live by just being. Power in finding your wholeness in now. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it, burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core.
being yourself. Stay authentic at all costs. And never lose your spark. Because that's what makes your brand uniquely you. I see you. I'm rooting for you. And I know you have what it takes to be successful and to have fun with this craft. Until next time, happy candle making.